In this HubNut video, I'm still waiting for parts for my Reliant Fox here, so I thought I'd do another vlog about kit. I haven't done one for a while. I do like to do them from time to time. The kit I use to make my videos is constantly evolving. I'm recording this on my Canon M50, so EOS. It's a mirrorless camera, DSLR style, and I found that to be a very good video. First used it on the Morris Marina video that I filmed, was that only last year? Wow. And yeah, very good in this form. If I've got the camera static, it's very good. Once I start walking around with the camera, the digital stabilization is not quite so good, and because it's so heavy and bulky, it means I wasn't able to take it on the New Zealand trip. I just didn't have space because I was right up on the luggage limits, and I can't really use it successfully in car. This marina footage shows that it does shake around. Trying to find a mount that'll hold it steady, very difficult, and the stabilization can't really cope. So that's why I moved on to an action camera. Though I should point out, for many years to build the channel up, I was recording only on a mobile phone. Mobile phones are very capable, but again it was the in-car footage that was starting to suffer. It was after I had to completely reshoot a car in New Zealand because the shake was so bad. I was shooting it in the evening, the light levels were quite dark, the footage was unusable. I had to go back and reshoot it with this. This is my DJI Osmo action camera, and I've now had it for a year. This is a real world test. I've been using it extensively. I've recorded thousands of video clips over the past year. I haven't been paid by DJI, although you will find an affiliate link in the video below should you wish to buy the camera. You can buy the camera and support this channel if you wish. That's not compulsory, and I don't consider that that is buying a review. This is a very fair test of what I think is a very good camera. Now, I bought it ahead of GoPro for one simple reason. It has a selfie screen, so if I turn it on, here, I've got it in the standard case it came with, and if I press that button, I then get this screen on the front. So I'm going to bring that to you for a closer look. Let me just put the microphone down. We'll talk about microphones in a moment, but if I remove this from the car temporarily, you've got this excellent selfie screen. So there is my Canon M50, which I'm recording this on at the moment, and there is Ellie, my 2CV, you can see on the screen. So when I'm doing my vlog style, talking to camera, that selfie screen is absolutely invaluable because I can see exactly what I'm recording. It doesn't stay on for very long, so that's one issue, which is why sometimes you might be thinking, what is he looking at? To preserve battery life, the screen does tend to go off quite quickly. But yeah, lovely screen on the front, and just press that button quickly and it switches to the screen on the back, which is a bit larger. But very good stabilization. So I'm going to record this clip so I can show you. So a handheld pan on my Citroen 2CV, and yeah, even when you're walking along, it's very good at steadying the footage. I've got footage of this car where I go over a speed hump and you actually see the rock of the speed hump. So very good stabilization there. So a really handy bit of kit. They're not particularly cheap, £329 in the UK at the time of recording, so it's definitely one of my more expensive buys when it comes to kit, but it's been absolutely invaluable. It absolutely transformed the in-car footage because it's so light, so you get a decent mount. This one costs £6.99 from eBay. I will include a link below. No connection to the seller. This is the best one I've found so far. It's got a really nice big sucker on it, plenty of adjustment, but it holds the camera firm, which has always been my biggest challenge. People are always asking me about mobile phone mounts, etc. This one, mobile phones limited in a car, I'm afraid, but I'm very happy with this mount. It's been very good. I buy a lot of mounts, most of them are absolute rubbish. So this is just using the standard connector that comes with the kit to attach it to a tripod. So we'll take that off momentarily. There we go, so that just screws out. And then you've got the camera itself. And this brings me to another point. I'm going to come in a little bit closer here because you've got this adapter on the side. You must use DJI's adapter to be able to use an external microphone, which, to be honest, is essential. You have to do that. I don't like it because it sticks out. I think it's quite vulnerable. It's better with this case because it goes into the case, so that protects it a bit more. Also means this camera is not waterproof because I've had to remove the side door to allow the adapter to be used. So that's something to bear in mind if you're doing a lot of shooting outside. That is not a waterproof camera. But yeah, it shoots very nicely. It's very quick and easy. It responds well to me just pressing buttons and going, because that's my style. I just turn the camera on and I'm off. So I like that. And there have been some very good firmware updates as well. I was going to turn it back on again to show you one of them, which is if I plug the microphone in on the back. We now get, this didn't happen when I bought the camera, there is now a little sound level icon just there, and that shows you a sound level in real time, so I can see that the microphone is connected and working, and that's a vast improvement. The other problem was when I first got this camera, if I turned it off, which I would do to save battery, and then turned it on again during the course of a photo shoot, it wouldn't always pick up that the external microphone was attached. That was hugely irritating. So I'm glad DJI have sorted that out through firmware updates. And the rock steady, that digital image stabilization, has been improved as well. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. It's a really nice bit of kit. And it just seemed to offer a bit more to me as a vlogger than the GoPro. So I went for this one instead. I'm not sure where GoPro are up to these days, but yeah, really happy with that. It doesn't take very good photos, so I wouldn't use it for photos. Can also struggle a bit in low light, although I tend to keep the ISO setting quite low so I don't get grainy footage. So I have to illuminate well if I'm working under a car. I don't always do that because I'm hopeless. So that's something to bear in mind. But yeah, lovely little camera, very light. It's proved very reliable. Really happy with it. Plugged into it at the moment, I have a Rode wired microphone. This is a SmartLav. So this is actually designed for mobile phones, but they're quite a lot cheaper than the ones that are designed for DSLRs. And Rode also conveniently sell you this little adapter, which takes it from a TRRS mobile phone connector to a TRS, which is standard DSLR. So very handy little adapter. That I've bought a couple of those. I've tried using both cheap connectors and cheap eBay microphones with absolutely disastrous results. This is some footage shot in a 2CV, and just listen to the distortion here. 60 on the clock! Whoa! It's a flying machine! Whereas this works quite nicely, I think. I think this works much better. I will say it still can clip out a bit, even though this is meant to be a good quality item. I think Rode do build these down to a cost, so they can be slightly overwhelmed. And that brings me to my next bit of Rode kit as well. Haha! I bring you the Rode Wireless and Go. We've got a transmitter here, which has got a microphone built into it, and also the transmitter, which plugs into the camera via the old TRS. So no good with a mobile phone unless you've got an adapter to take that to TRRS on the adapter. But this works pretty well. I will say it's not the most expensive wireless kit, but it's the best one by far I've used so far. I used to have a Saramonic one, which was huge, bulky, needed huge batteries, and was very iffy in its usage. This works much better, and a wireless mic just gives you so much more freedom, because you're no longer attached to the camera, and you know, whatever you say is going to be heard. So I can walk all the way around here, and it captures the sound very nicely. I did have an issue where she was pinking, so I had, when I was on the European road trip, I kept on retarding the ignition. I will say I've had to turn the sensitivity right down to get good results. Again, it seems to get overwhelmed, especially when you're inside a noisy car, and all of my cars are noisy. So I've turned the sensitivity down. There were only 3 settings, and that's not one of the better features, to be honest. On the plus side, if I turn both units on for a moment, take a while to warm up. Also, you have to press and hold the button a long time to turn them off. I find that irritating. But the battery life is quite good, about 7 hours. So if I'm recording in the garage, I'll just leave this turned on the whole time. But we've got blue lights to indicate we are recording sound. And the receiver has this handy little screen. So there you go, that's a live readout of my voice. Ba 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 ba. Which is really useful to monitor sound levels. It also shows the battery life of both units. So that's been a really useful bit of kit, and you don't have to use it just as this. I mean, a lot of people will just use that Rode transmitter as the microphone. You see them sort of, you know, clipped on like this, but they're big bulky things. So I tend to use it with the wired microphone, and then I can hide the transmitter somewhere else, and you've only got the little fluffy dead cat, as they call them, of the microphone visible. So this is the Rode mic again, and it just plugs straight into the transmitter, so that works really well. Again, have to use the adapter because it's geared up for TRS, not TRRS. But those SmartLav microphones, they're a bit flimsy, but I quite like the sound quality. That's the second one. I did buy one in New Zealand. It didn't last very long after the trip, so over the summer. So I only got 6 or 7 months out of that, which is quite poor. But I managed to buy a replacement for just £35 as a used one. It seems to be working quite well. Again, I'm not very good at looking after my kit. I do just hurl stuff into the bag. So yeah, that can be a problem. That's probably my fault. But nature of the beast with me. I don't want to have lots of kit, but I have to take ages to set up. I just want to grab it, clip it, turn it on, go. That's what suits my vlogging style. But certainly I think that's allowed some major improvements on the channel. So yeah, I use this Canon EOS M50 when I can, because I think it offers a superior image quality, less distortion because it isn't such a wide angle lens, plus it has a bit of zoom, which I don't get on the DJI. But overall, if I only had to use one camera, it would be that DJI Osmo action camera. It's been really good. I've been very pleased with it. So there you go, that was just a quick bit of a kit review. For long-term fans of the channel, don't worry, there will be work going on. I've got engine work on this car, and the Fox here is just waiting for some parts so I can get that finished. And as it's blocking in everything, this one really needs sorting out. So as I say, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget you can head to the Hubnut store to buy lovely merchandise if you wish. There will be links to relevant kit in the description below, and I look forward to seeing you in a future video. Farewell.